All right, the race here today is a GT3 30-minute race at Charlotte Roval, and these guys are wrecking before we even get to the start finish line. Uh, yeah, really. Um, so it's kind of wild. Uh, so it happened like right sort of next to us here, right in front of us. Oh, I didn't even know I touched that car. I thought I made it through perfectly clean. So you'll notice this is at night. Uh, it's basically just a little bit more of a challenge. The visibility. Um, Headlights and mirrors. Sometimes people are flashing their high beams uh, to be annoying or to try to indicate for you to move over or something goofy. Um, this camera angle seems pretty close. Get a little bit wider angle. Let's stick with two for a minute. Um, so yeah, so I started off 15th there. Uh, about three cars look like they took themselves out um, right in front of us through this sort of bus stop here. This guy right in front of us also takes himself out. It's pretty easy to do. The fast guys are really aggressive over the last curbs there, and you see the guys catching up on us. It's because they were more aggressive on those exit curbs. This was kind of a fun battle. I thought this guy was going to outbrake himself, and he did. Um, because I thought I was at the limit of braking, and so if he's braking later than me, he's farther at the limit, um, farther than the limit, and then he sort of backs it in front of me there. I felt like I saw it coming, but I didn't. I didn't want us both to get sort of taken out. Let's look at that again. So he takes a really inside line because he had lost momentum here from coming out of here. I had more straightaway speed on him, but he had the inside sort of blocked. And so what he does is he takes it all the way to the wall on exit of this turn. So if we look at the cockpit view here, you see from this angle, he's to our inside and then brakes real late, super late apex, right up against the wall. And I kind of figured he was might do that since he had just bungled the previous turn, and then now he bungles this turn and starts getting it sideways. Um, but this time I kept on it because I thought by the time he got back on the track, he'd be behind us. Uh, we should probably look at that again from a before we get too far away. Uh, so he missed the apex there, gets it way out into the gray, comes right back down, and we just kind of like slide uh, right in front of him as he's coming sort of back onto the racing line. So that was a total judgment call on my part that that time I wasn't going to back out of it. That time I thought I could clear him regardless of what he was going to try to do. I thought I could get away. And the timing worked out just right. But it's one of those like split second, tenth of a second decision of like, no, I think I can clear. Just keep your foot in it. Here, he'd have to be a lot faster to get around me because even if he got up beside me, which he might have been able to, he wouldn't be able to pass me going in there. And so that was going to turn into a game of chicken. And he wasn't even close enough to make it a challenge. So that's why he backed out of it. Uh, but he backed out of it kind of late. And now he comes in again, dives it in, again outbreaks himself. Again, should be getting a time penalty here. Um, but I think he's sort of thinking, oh, I can just sort of block in the meantime. Well, I'm ready for it this time. Uh, and so I do the crossover move, thinking, okay, this dude's going to back it in like he did last time. Because this is basically, sort of a replay of the last lap. And so if you watch this from in car, um, I was kind of proud of this, just predicting what's going to happen. He's going to outbrake himself because he's carrying too much speed. I felt like I was kind of close to the limit, but I knew I was going to have to slow down a little bit more to turn inside of him. Uh, so I'm accounting for that as best I can. in the moment. But I'm just thinking he's got to take a much tighter angle. So if we look at this, like, I don't know, chopper view, we'll go. So he's having to make a much tighter turn. I have a wider radius to make, and so you could tell he's not getting in the front of that car to turn, where I'm taking a nicer, smoother arc through there. So his slowest point of the turn is going to be a lot slower than mine, and because he has to suddenly take a tighter turn. So if we take my speed right here, it's not quite a fair comparison. Let's go up a little bit right here. So I'm like 71 miles an hour, and he is 59 miles an hour. So it's 22 miles an hour difference right there in that moment, and that's how that happens. I'm able to keep my mid corner speed relatively high, and he's definitely having to drop his mid corner speed a lot more than um, you normally would through there because of the line, because of that shallow kind of entry. Let's stick with this view for a minute. So you can see he makes up a little bit kind of into there. Great. Now I can't switch my camera views. Great. All right, we're stuck with this camera view. Now we're on the banking through NASCAR NASCAR 1 and 2, going through 2 onto the back straight about now. Um, yeah, now we're gonna head for this bus stop style chicane here. So watch how close he is right there. See if he makes up any ground through here. I think he typically was. He might also be running a lower downforce setup, which I considered. Um, at the last minute, I went back to the regular setup and then just lowered the rear wing a little bit to sort of reduce the downforce, but also hoping maybe it'll help me get the car to rotate a little bit more, get the car to turn a little bit more. There's more of a chance of spinning out, losing the rear end, getting too loose, but I felt like I could handle that, and I wanted the extra turning ability on the turn where you come back onto the NASCAR part of the track that's coming up here. I'll point it out in a second. He makes up some ground right there, closing under braking. That part, no, this turn right here, where you come through here and you come back onto the banking, I really feel like I'm struggling on that turn. And so that's why I wanted to help with the rotation. You can see he's making ground. He's in the draft, and he got a little bit better exit, but just not close enough to do anything with it. It sucks we can't switch cameras here. Maybe there's another way. Oh, there's another way here. There's always another way. All right, we'll stay with this one. So now he's definitely much closer. He's going to dive in there probably. Yeah, there it is. And this time I hold out there. Like I'm not giving doing the crossover. I'm just giving him the inside lane. Like, okay, you want to shove it up the inside? Shove it up the inside. The risk that time is if he overshoots his braking again, he's going to slam into the side of my car. But I tried to hold it close enough to the wall so that if he did hit me, uh, it wouldn't be hopefully that big of an impact. Um, so we're going side by side through here. I got a little bit loose right there, but recovered it. Um, so I'm definitely trying hard because we're here doing this thing um, for position. But if you watch the in car here, we'll go slow motion. Watch the hands. So this is like quarter speed. Look at the hands because I got loose. I'm correcting. I'm turning to the right a lot to catch their rear end and then back on the throttle. Um, I should have left these controls up too so you could see the gas and the brake. Um, So still trying to get the car rotated enough, even through all that, and I lost quite a bit of ground. You can see how much I probably lost 2 seconds, a second and a half. And so now this other car to my inside is looking, but he backed out of it. Uh, I realized at that point that this car behind me is a lap down, uh, and so maybe that's why he was backing out of it. I didn't, I wasn't paying close enough attention before to realize that. Um, so let's go ahead. Not sure if anything interesting happens here for a minute. Um, what might be interesting is if we go to the car behind us and then watch the gyro view. Move the cockpit view. So this is kind of interesting sometimes when there's a car behind you that's faster than you, and you watch from their onboard, you can kind of see where you're making mistakes, or at least where they're making up ground on you. They're definitely getting a draft effect, so like you kind of have to ignore this part of the straightaways a little bit, but it could be useful to see where you might be making a mistake, where there's a little more on the table that you're not. He got through there better for sure. I'm staying out a little bit wide, force him to go either around the outside or squeeze on that little narrow spot in the middle. So you can tell he lifts off the throttle a little bit early, uh, and taking it easy here because um, he didn't want to challenge it right there. So it's hard when you're a lap down, like and you're quicker. Like this guy, he must have got caught in that wreck on the first lap or something earlier because he's definitely quicker than me. I missed the apex big time. That's the type of thing that's easier to spot from behind. Sit there, I got the apex good. You could see the tires were all in the paint, almost down to the turtle curbs, those blue things. You can see him getting on those apexes good. Could have been a little closer over that one. Right out to the wall, I brushed the wall, and he's able to get the car rotated and back to the throttle sooner. So that's what we learned from that. There's damage. So we are now working lap 7. We're in position 7. Started about 15th. Um, I think other than the back and forth with that one black car, uh, I think all the passes have been people didn't keep it on the track. People damaged their cars. So there's somebody else getting closing up behind us. Maybe we'll go to that in car with them and do that again, see if we can learn something. Um, all right. So right here, he's probably a second, 1.2 seconds behind us. Definitely more aggressive through the bus stop and made up ground. But I'm staying wide. I'm kind of middle of the track, keeping my car wide, uh, making it difficult to pass. Uh, Trying to get a great exit out of there, but he still gets the inside coming up through here. Oops, went the wrong way. Uh, but I'm right there. Using all the track there. You can see I'm struggling to get the car turned coming up onto this because you have a bunch of elevation changes and angle changes, and you're turning kind of the whole time. It's like 2 or 3 left turns in a row. Oof, that Porsche behind us, very aggressive over the curbs. Almost lost it. Again, brush the wall coming out of the NASCAR section of the track. I struggle with the rotation right there. Maybe I can do something suspension wise to help out there. Oof, that Porsche caught a lot of air. Got a great run. I left like a car width on the bottom, car width and a half, and he's coming no matter what. So I'm just hoping to sort of pressure him under braking and maybe push him into a mistake. We got scrapes. Oof, all along that right side now. And the scrapes, basically, I didn't get the car turned enough and got on the throttle a little bit too early. If I would have got on the throttle a little bit smoother or slower, a little bit more gently, the car wouldn't push out quite so wide there. Let's try switching to the chopper view. Somebody's wrecking. Here's some crunching sounds. Got another car catching up behind us. Uh, let's go ahead and do this thing here. So I definitely missed the apex there. You can see I was car width away there in front. Um, and this car we're riding along with got that better. You can see he was way down farther on the inside coming onto the through this turn. I just need to change my lane completely through that. Wow, you could hear the impacts there. Let's see if we can fix the. Uh, uh, try to. Where's this thing? Drive. Field of view. Try to fix the field of view so we get more out the window. So he is on the limit there when you see him running out right towards the grass. Right here, he gets his turn in there, off the throttle more, I think. I think I just get back to the throttle a little too quickly, and that ends up pushing me wider, and then I have to get off the throttle later. Something like that. Just trying to take a shorter line there. Again, I'm opening the door, letting him, think if he wants to maybe try to dive it down under braking, but I'm gonna defend the inside line going through here. Because if I do the opposite, if I'm right along the grass on the left, then he might dive up the inside under braking, or think he can, think there's the space, but I don't want to give him any hope of there being any space to that side. Could have been a little closer on apex. Definitely could have been closer on apex there. You can see my brake lights there. I was trying to get the thing down, making the left, and probably turned a little bit better that time, but it's a struggle. He's closer than he's been, I think. So again, I'm going to cheat to the right a little bit here. I'm hitting that first turn in the chicane good, but not the second one. I could be a little tighter on that. Sometimes what you think you're doing and what you are doing is a little bit different when you see it from the outside. Okay, he's all the way out to the grass there. So we're working lap 15 right now. And this is for, we're fighting over seventh position here. Oh, and a car behind us lost it back there, coming out of the chicane. That time I got on the curbs a little bit better coming out on the second left-hand set of curbs. Oh, he scraped the inside. Oh, almost scraped the outside maybe. Oh, and here's his car right behind him. The blue and white car's all over him, like a cheap suit, as they say. Oops. All right, let's go. Let's go cockpit view here. That noise is the brakes. I thought it was just when the brakes are cold, but maybe it's because it's nighttime or something. Uh, they make that noise under heavy braking, it seems like. They just made a change recently to the sounds of that. So you're using all the track. You can see in the rearview mirror there, up in the upper right, uh, how close the car is behind us. I'm protecting the inside here. I don't want him to dive up the inside or think he has a chance there, like force him to go around the outside, go the longer way. And sort of same thing here. Leave a little bit of room to the left, but not enough for a car, and then sort of force him to go around the outside if he's going to try to make a move. And they switched places behind us. That blue and white car must have got by the orange car there somewhere. Oh, BMW behind us put it in the wall. The blue and white car scraped the wall a little bit, but he's still alive. So at this point, I remember looking at the gap. I had about a 1 second gap, and then coming through here, they seemed to make it all right back up again. Okay. We'll watch from the onboard the car behind us. That blue and white car. It sounds like it's much more in and out of the throttle, like not very gradual. It definitely made up ground right there. See, they don't know which way to go. Left, right, I don't know. Indecision. Cool, I get to hold on to the spot. And he's got a car battling him. He's got somebody on his tail. The car came out of the pit lane right there. I don't know if you can see it up there in front of me, in front of the yellow car. He loses it. The boom. Exactly. What the hell was that? So I was not happy about that, of course. So let's switch to my in car. All right. So we're coming along here. This is the exit of pit road to the left of that blue line. These cars have to stay to the left of the blue line. We can drive over that line if we want to, but um, you may recognize his car from earlier in the race as we get closer to it. So he loses it on the grass. He loses it on the grass, uh, and then uh, starts to kind of correct it and come back on the track. And so this is what happens. So you may think, oh, target fixation or something. Like I saw it and just stared at it and ran right into it. I don't think that's what happened. I saw this. I saw the angle of the car. I saw which way he's going, and I'm predicting he's going to keep going that way. He's aiming across this way. I can swerve to the right and he takes me out and it would have been obvious. Or I hold my ground and hope he keeps going to the right and he's not there when I get there. Um, Also, I have a car right on my butt. Uh, well, back a little bit, not super close, but I know there's cars right behind me. Um, and so, uh, yeah, so we come out of here. I don't know what the best view is. Cockpit, I guess. Uh, I see him. I see him from here, and I know he's high. Uh, like that's not a good line, but maybe he's backing off to stay out of our way. I don't know. Slow mo. Um, yeah, I see. Oh no, he's in the grass. Crap. Do I go right? Do I go right? No, he's gonna go right. Okay, I'm gonna go left. No, then he decides he's gonna yank it back to the left. Um, and that was the end of my race. So we were in sixth uh, or better. Yeah, sixth, I think, when that happened. Um, it's a 30-minute race. We are, I don't know, we got 5 minutes to go or something. Um, we're 19 laps in. We're working lap 20 of a 30 lap race, and the laps are 120. So 1 1/3. I don't know. Anyway, we have like maybe 4 or 5 minutes left in the race, and this shit happens. And so that's unfortunate. Um, this dude was Casper. He was in 18th, and yeah, 18th out of how many cars? 26 cars started. And results. Where did Casper finish? Uh, he finished 8 laps down in 18th. So he still finished ahead of him, even missing the last few minutes of the race. So, yeah, not how I wanted my race to end, but oh well, it happens sometimes. Uh, I was frustrated by it, but what are you gonna do? Uh, so, anyway, cool. Thanks for watching. How do I stop this thing?